Chapter 1, What is a Juvenile Delinquent? This is a narrated version of this PowerPoint presentation. Introduction. Growing from child to adult involves a change in status, rights, responsibilities, and self-concept. The problems of growing up differ across geographic locations, time, and culture. Most people successfully pass from childhood to adulthood. Those who don't often end up as clients in the juvenile justice system. The social construction of childhood, achieved and ascribed characteristics. Age is ascribed characteristic. Society discriminates according to age, and discrimination according to age is socially constructed. Several criteria are used as a basis for treating juveniles differently than adults. Those include physical development, intellectual development, and emotional development. The social construction of childhood, rites of passage, ceremonies that serve to mark the rites of passage from one stage of life to another, especially the entry of a youth into adulthood. Most modern societies don't have rites of passage. Why? Long period of adolescence, blurring of male and female roles, legal issues, and new concepts of manhood. Defining the terms: juvenile, an age-related status that has legal ramifications. Juvenile delinquent, a person who is determined to have broken the law or committed a status offense in states in which a minor is declared to lack responsibility and who may not be sentenced as an adult. Status offense is an act considered to be legal offense only when committed by a juvenile and which can be adjudicated only in a juvenile court. Dependent, a term describing the status of a child who needs court protection and assistance because his or her health or welfare is endangered due to the parent or guardian's inability, through no fault of their own, to provide proper care and supervision. Transition or rebellion. Juveniles occasionally engage in deviant behavior in the process of attaining adulthood. Some themes can be linked to attempts to display adulthood and can include autonomy from adult control, displays of masculinity, female adaptations, economic independence, and willingness to take risk. Parens Patriae and the law. Parens Patriae refers to the philosophy that the government is the ultimate guardian of all children or disabled adults. Reason the U.S. courts extended Parens Patriae: not all children adequately controlled their children, and to protect children from abusive and neglectful parents. Adolescents and delinquency. Sociological imagination, the idea that one must look beyond the obvious to evaluate how social locations influence how one considers society. Two aspects must be considered separately when considering the idea of generation. 1, adolescence is a period in the life course, and 2, a generation is a cohort. Adolescence is the period between puberty and adulthood in human development that typically falls between the ages of 13 and 19. A cohort is a set of people who share a particular statistical or demographic characteristic. Cohort events are unique to each generation. Adolescence and delinquency, risk factors and delinquency. At the family level, we have low parental warmth, poor parental supervision, ineffective or harsh discipline practices. At the school level, untreated learning disabilities, low academic achievement, alienation from school, and truancy. At the peer group level, association with delinquent peers, and gang membership. At the community level, exposure to violence, exposure to drug dealing, and access to firearms. Growing up too soon. A certain amount of deviant behavior might actually be beneficial for both the individual and youth and society in general. For instance, in the 1960s, youths protested the government's draft of young men to fight in war, but not allowing people of that same age to drink alcohol or to vote. Defining crime and delinquency. On a continuum of social control, crime occupies an extreme position at the serious end. The dark figure of crime. The differences between reported and unreported crime have substantial significance. The term dark figure of crime relates to crime that goes unreported to police and criminal justice officials and is never quantified. A victim might not report an offense for a number of reasons, including the victim might not understand or believe an offense has been committed, the victim might lack faith in the system, the victim might wish to protect the offender, the victim might be guilty. Some offenses reported to the police don't get recorded as offenses. Other reasons can include distrust of the police, recognition of a cultural code that demands that honorable people don't snitch or report crimes, fear of reprisal from the offender, involvement in an offense while observing the commission of another, possibly unrelated offense. The Uniform Crime Report is the best known method for reporting crime in the United States. Almost every legal jurisdiction reports the number of offenses, arrest statistics, and the characteristics of their agencies to the FBI. This was initiated in the 1920s. The Uniform Crime Report is jurisdictional report statistics to state programs as well as directly to the FBI, which compiles them into reports and publications. These are distributed to the public, including the reporting jurisdictions. The Uniform Crime Report, how to calculate a crime rate, is based on a numerical calculation that includes the number of crimes divided by the population times the number of people. And it is usually reported as offenses per 100,000 in the population. The difference between adults and juveniles that help skew the statistics on delinquents can include it's impossible to know how many offenses were committed by juveniles. Police are more likely to handle juveniles informally, and juveniles are more likely than adults to be caught. Concerns about how accurately the number reflect the true incident and rate of crime include issues related to the hierarchy rule, follow-up procedures, variation in definitions, and attempted offenses. Self-report crime and victimization surveys, self-report studies. Anonymous studies that ask participants to tell researchers what offenses they've committed. There's two basic issues. Were the right people asked the right questions, and did they answer truthfully? Two problems of truth-telling. Underreporting because of fear of arrest, embarrassment, or fear of action. Overreporting as a joke or as posturing. Victimization surveys. The National Crime Victimization Survey, conducted annually by the Bureau of Justice Statistics and the Census Bureau, collects information about the frequency, characteristics, and consequences of crime from individuals ages 12 and older, finds that adolescent and young adults experience the most violent crime. The measure of youth as offenders and victims. Adults commit more offenses than youths. Adult offenders are clustered around the lower end of the age scale, and their offenses seem to be an extension of delinquency. Children are truly victims because they don't participate in creating the conditions or environment that encourage crime. The effects of youth victimization, ways kids can suffer, can include ignorance of victimization, long-lasting harm, guilt, permanent physical injuries, and family devastation. A typology of delinquents. A typology is a conceptual grouping of items into categories so that they can be considered separately and compared. And they can include status offenses, property offenders, drug users and abusers, gang members, and chronic and violent juvenile offenders. That ends the narrated version of this PowerPoint.